Welcome back to Berry Birders. Christyn and I, along with several of our kids, went to Puerto Rico in the last couple of weeks, and this is the first of a series of videos from that trip. This is Window Cave.
Or Cueva Ventana.
Her pronunciation's a little bit better than mine. And the fun part about caves is initially you get to see cave swallows as you go in, and that's what these birds are. They're relatives of cliff swallows. And we saw a good number of them kind of working around in fields, but we took a tour through this cave, and this one was actually fairly easy to get to. We'll talk more about the difficulties of accessing some of these places, but this one was right along a main highway without a whole lot of bends. The Taino indigenous people used these caves as meeting places, and there you can see behind Christyn is that petroglyph of I don't know, an ancient emoji. Here's some other ones from farther back in the cave. Very unique with the amount of green moss that they have. And a word to the wise, we're about ready to talk about bats, which is what you encounter later on in the cave.
They told us there were free-tailed bats and fruit bats here, and that the free-tailed ones had a group or family group, either of a male and a lot of females, or sometimes a female with young. He said the solo ones were probably old and alone, and then you see a couple not getting along very well over here.
And we're going to just kind of pan away from them. Let's go back to this nice happy couple or harem. We'll see. They don't seem to be doing very many harem-related things, at least.
The bats were wonderful to see. They were cute, they were furry, they fly. They're like your pet hamster on wings.
Yeah, not a lot of flying in this cave. At least this species of bat tolerated the red lights. And then we got closer to the exit of the cave, and here's the cave swallows just flying around, entering and leaving their nests. But this video gives a decent sense of what it was like to see these birds just kind of swirling around through the entrance of the cave. That was one of my favorite memories of this trip, though we'll have one or two more in upcoming videos. And finally, we get to the end, the window of the cave for which this place is named.
Here's one of the fruit bats.
You can tell I was being very steady with some slow shutter speeds.
Not quite sure what the staining is there behind it.
Well, I can guess. We said that the ones by themselves were old, and I think this one may be in the bed. But what are you going to do if he's making some guano fertilizer? Then who are we to complain? Itch, itch, itch.
See it grooming itself?
Grooming is a much better term for it than itch, itch, itch. I'm sure that sitting there in your little alcove that you've been peeing all over yourself wouldn't lead to itching. Back to the birds. Here's a cave swallow on a nest in this part of the cave as it launches back out into the open. And look at that beautiful window cave. What does that shape remind you of?
It's a little bit like a ring.
Looks a little bit about a ring. More later. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe.